Hey, welcome to Rockoli, YouTube's best channel for record collectors. This week, we're talking Queens of the Stone Age and their album Songs for the Deaf. I also want to talk about a hidden gem by the progressive rock band Thank You Scientist. And finally, I'm going to share some of my recent pickups, including a GRAIL. Stay tuned.
Get ready for Rockoli, bringing music to you. Rockoli, rock and roll, metal and country too. Get ready for the record of the week. Get ready for Rockoli.
Record of the week is Songs for the Deaf by Queens of the Stone Age. This album came out in the early 2000s, 2002, and I completely missed it. I had heard of Queens of the Stone Age, but I just never gave their music a listen. However, this album and some of their other albums have recently been reissued on vinyl. Saw people in the VC talking about this album, and even some guys at work talking about how much they really enjoyed this album. I decided to do kind of a blind buy and pick it up. From what I was hearing, it sounded like it was going to be right up my alley. I've really been enjoying it. It's much heavier than I expected based on the major single from this, No One Knows. But based on that track, and I really like that track. The rest of the album, it's not that track doesn't fit, it's just that some of the other tracks are definitely much heavier than that track would indicate. Especially being a blind buy for me. But I really like it. Great sound on this reissue. They did an excellent job. Nice jacket, double LP. Got the music spread across 2 discs. No complaints. If you're like me and been in the dark about Queens of the Stone Age, I definitely recommend giving this a listen. If you're a rock music fan, hard rock fan, this is going to be right up your alley. This week on Hidden Gems, we have Maps of Non-Existent Places by the band Thank You Scientist. They're a progressive rock band with indie, jazz, metal elements, kind of all blended together. Really unique sound. They have very good guitar work on this record. Interesting horn parts. Compositions are just nice. They're intricate but definitely digestible. Vocals on this album are male tenor vocals. They're kind of thin, basic, but they go well with the intricate instrumentation that's going on in the background. Once you get used to the vocals, I think this album will click with you if you're a fan of progressive rock. Just a really nice modern rock album. The hype sticker describes them as Frank Zappa for the indie generation. Pretty fitting. This was, like I said, it was released in 2014 and they did some vinyl pressings. Nice gatefold jacket. And I like the throwback artwork. Kind of nice. And the version I have is on the, say, 2LP on just blue vinyl. Now, I hesitated to make this the hidden gem just because this album is difficult to find now on vinyl. There's a black version and the blue version. As of right now on Discogs, there's not even any for sale. So I'm not exactly sure how many were pressed. So I would say if you're able to find a copy of this, definitely recommend picking it up. Even if you don't like it, I think you could probably resell it for a profit. But I would hang on to it. It's a great album. They've had 2 other releases since this album, but in my opinion, this is their best and the one to have. Alright, I want to share with you guys some of my recent pickups, including what I got on Black Friday, Record Store Day. So, let's jump into it. I picked up Silver by the Wrens. This is a blind buy for me. I don't know if you guys, Record Store Day, you kind of, I don't know, there's like this pressure to it's like you don't want to miss out. So, but anyway, I was just kind of drawn to this cover, and the description from the hype sticker described it as like a lo-fi record. Just sounded interesting to me. Haven't given it a listen yet, but I will here soon. This was the one I was looking for and hoping for, and this is Rob Halford's solo band Fight and their album War of Words. I really, really like this record. They did a good job on this pressing. Gave it a spin, gave it several spins, and really, really been enjoying this record. I really hope they reissue his Resurrection solo album. I also really dig the industrial rock album he put out under the 2 moniker. It did not sell well. I think people were really put off by his eyeliner gothic vibe he was trying to put out at the time. It just was so drastically different from his image before. I think that turned people off, but I enjoyed it and I hope they reissue it soon. Next I picked up the Nightfly by Donald Fagen of Steely Dan. Didn't have a copy, got a good deal on this one. Phil Anselmo of Pantera joined a group called Down after Pantera, and this was their first album, NOLA. I was able to pick this up on vinyl, and their second LP. It's pretty heavy metal music. I feel like Pantera, even like there's kind of like a Soundgarden vibe to me. Like they're definitely a lot harder than that. But anyway, Phil, I love his vocals and he does a good job on these records. Mentioned in a previous video, I had ordered Filter's debut album and it arrived. And then, as you guys know, I've been getting into Van Halen. Anyway, I've been really drawn to this Fair Warning album. I don't think it's one of their most popular, but I really like the songs on this one. This was huge of Monsters and Men, this album, Little Talks. You could not escape that track when I was in college. It's just a nice pop record. The vocals to me are really interesting on this because it's female and male vocals are mixed so equally and high on this album that at times it's like you can choose who you want to be the lead vocalist just because they're so high up in the mix. The harmonies that those vocalists create are really good. I'd say my critique of this album is the songs sound very similar, but like I said, I like that sound, and it's a nice, easy listen, soothing. So really like this album. Candlemass, kind of considered their speed metal album. I haven't given it a listen yet, but I was just interested to hear kind of the transition for this album, so I'm gonna give it a listen soon. I got John Mellencamp's Other People's Stuff. This is one I haven't given a listen, but the price dropped dramatically on Amazon. It was so cheap. I think it was $8. So I had to pick it up. I love John Mellencamp, so I'm excited to spin this one. Then I got Love Over Gold, Dire Straits, the Mo-Fi reissue. They did an excellent job on the other Dire Straits albums I have. So their debut and Making Movies. So good. So I picked this one up, and Communique. They were out of stock, so I didn't think I was actually going to be able to get these, but they popped up in stock, so I grabbed them real quick. Very, very, the fidelity on these Dire Straits reissues is through the roof. They sound fantastic. Definitely recommend getting. Then I've been searching for this record for 6 years, and it's come up a few times on Discogs, eBay. People just want crazy amounts for it, but I've found one near mint, and it is the Royce Keane 12-inch single by Morrissey. This makes me sound like a cliche, according to the High Fidelity movie.
I get by because the people make a special effort to shop here. Mostly young men who spend all their time looking for deleted Smith singles and originals.
But I love the Smiths, love Morrissey, and this single was so hard to track down. But I'm glad to have it. I love this cover photo. I love the tracks on here. Royce Keane, the main single. Then you get Lost and The Edges Are No Longer Parallel. Great songs, and I'm just so excited to have this. What makes this interesting is because Royce Keane is the single off of Morrissey's album Maladjusted. This is 1997, and it's not a complex song. It's very simple. It's about a window cleaner, but I guess in concert Morrissey would change the lyrics to a midfielder instead of a window cleaner. But anyway, when they've reissued Maladjusted, Morrissey deleted the Royce Keane track completely, like removed it from the album. Now when you buy this album, the single off of it isn't even on the album anymore. It's just interesting, but he's notorious for doing that. So anyway, I think that's why this one is so coveted, deleted single, but it's just too cool. Glad to have it. Very excited. Well, that does it for this week, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you give The Hidden Gem a listen, I'd love to know your thoughts. And you just had a healthy dose of Rockoli. I'll see you next time.